or nobody's. Like, you have a hell of a staff. You have a great front office in place that knows how to scout and has success scouting. Get some goddamn prospects in this team and build up. Because as I brought to the attention very late last night, where my mind was elsewhere, Stanley Cup champions do not win Stanley Cups with big ticket UFAs on them.
Oh yeah, this was amazing that you brought this up. I thought Ryan was maybe he was, I don't know, he was chewing too much 5 gum the other night, but he actually brought up a wonderful point. What was that, Ryan?
I got to thinking about the last few Stanley Cup champions, and they're all built from the ground up. They're built from savvy trades. They're built from the draft, and very, very few players. Now, keep in mind when we have this conversation, we're talking like $5 million plus.
Yeah, Yeah, like even I think you could even bump it up to be like really like top line people that, you know, if they were signed on July 1, the panel would be like, whoa, that's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, not like, hey, Mike Sillinger signed with, you know, no shade to Mike Sillinger, but he's played for like 90 fucking years.
There are so many Stanley Cup champions in the modern era in the last 20 years that next to none of them have big ticket UFAs that they waste their money on.
Mm-hmm.
These July 1st deals do not amount to Stanley Cups.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, and I'm thinking about Bo Horvat because I consider him a bit of a UFA right now, because not only are you paying him an inflated market value,
yeah,
he could have got that. He could have got 9 on the open market. We're nitpicking $500,000, $1 million. This guy got a huge money. There is no hometown discount, no home. You know, I want to win. I'm an Islander. This guy got the absolute most. He got $198 for that jacket. He didn't get $120.
You're gonna be living off that jacket for so long.
Because I'm a Stanley Cup.
You'll be at my wedding and you'll be like, remember that time, Arashi? I got the 129, huh?
And because of that, I was able to build a contender and a champion. You're not building champions full price jackets. But I say this because they gave up all this money and assets to get this guy to win now. And I got to thinking, who were some big name UFAs on recent Stanley Cup champions? Over $4 or $5 million. There's nobody on the Bolts. There's Tyler Bozak on the St. Louis Blues. There's Matt Niskanen a few years prior on the Washington Capitals. Nobody on Pittsburgh. Then you got to go back even further. Marian Hossa signing for $5.27 for 12 years. Kids, back in our day, you could sign contracts for over a decade. He made $5.2 for 12 years. They won the Stanley Cup that year. And before that, you got to go back to Chris Pronger, who made almost $7 million in 2006 to play for the Ducks. They won the Cup that year.
Was it Pronger or Niedermeyer?
Sorry, Scott Niedermeyer. Chris Pronger was traded from Edmonton due to salacious reasons.
Shit being too cold.
Yeah. But
due to wifey not being happy.
I'm putting together a list of players that are making over $5 million since 2006. 17 years ago. Scott Niedermeyer in Anaheim. Brian Rafalski in Detroit.
Right.
Marian Hossa in Chicago.
Rafalski's a really good one. Yeah, Rafalski would be one of the needle movers.
Bozak in St. Louis. Matt Niskanen in Washington. These were all players that went as accent pieces to an already pretty damn put together organization, and were there to help get them over the mountain. They weren't cornerstones, and I don't want to see any July 1st big ticket deals for the Canucks anymore, or if whoever your team you're cheering for. I just don't see it in the cards anymore. There is a proven track record that Stanley Cup champions, do not overpay on July 1st.
Well, could we also make the argument that like players that move the needle that much in the way that, let's say Niedermeyer or Marian Hossa, etc., they just don't become free agents anymore like that.
Yeah.
You just don't, and then the players that tend to be paid on July 1, the $5 million player goes for 6.5, 7.
Yeah.
Because that's just the tax that they have to pay in the free agent market. But yeah, it was really great. It was something that got me really thinking where, like not only do contenders usually just not even have the cap space, but thinking about how you don't really hear about like, oh man, that UFA signing, that big ticket UFA signing was crucial to us even making it through. Like maybe if Matt Sundin, single-handedly beat the Blackhawks, we can make this. We can make the argument that like, hey, at least Matt's did good, and then we ran into LA again or whatever.
Nobody on
ran into
LA
Detroit.
either.
Oh, no.
It's trades and drafting. To all you kids out there, don't get jazzed up about July 1st.